You need to sit down for this one, because what Kevin Stefanski just said in that press conference is totally crazy. And I'm not the only one who saw it. Shannon Sharpe talked about this on Nightcap, and they're saying the same thing that everyone else is thinking. This doesn't make any sense unless Kevin Stefanski is trying to hurt Shedeur Sanders on purpose. Let me show you what I mean. The Browns just got destroyed by the Bears, 31-13. Shedeur threw 3 passes that were picked off. The offense seemed completely lost. And after the game, reporters are asking Kevin Stefanski what went wrong. If you were paying attention during the game, you would have noticed that Shedeur was always looking down at his wristband. You could tell he was confused in the huddle. You saw something happen with the wrist card early in the game. It either fell out or something went wrong. Reporters asked Stefanski about it, and his answer is the most suspicious thing you'll ever hear from an NFL head coach. Mary Kay Cabot, a reporter, asks, "I think they said that the wristband you guys had on the first 2 drives had the wrong plays on it. Is that right?" Kevin Stefanski says, Yes, there was something. I don't know if the wristband had something on it or not. No. Yes. That isn't an answer, you all. That's a lie that's happening right now. That's someone who got caught and is trying to get out of it. That's Kevin Stefanski saying, yeah, we messed up, but trying to make it sound like it wasn't a big deal. I don't know if the wristband has something on it. What does that even mean? What got on it? Do you want coffee? Water? You mean to tell me that an NFL coaching staff made a wristband with more than 150 plays on it, and then something got on it and they had to change it in the middle of the game? That's what we're supposed to believe. Someone who knows what's going on said it perfectly. I think Kevin Stefanski and Shedeur are having problems because there were some plays in the game where I thought the line was missing blocks. We've seen this happen before. Right now, things don't look good for Kevin Stefanski. This is the second time, everyone. This isn't the first time something like this has happened to Shedeur. This is a pattern. Kevin Stefanski is setting up his rookie quarterback to fail on purpose and then acting shocked when things go wrong. The insider went on, "I'm sick of Kevin Stefanski because there's always something going on. There's always something going on in every game. Things that are true. There's a new excuse every week. Every week, there's a new misunderstanding. Shedeur has to deal with something every week that shouldn't happen in the NFL." The insider asked the question that everyone is asking. How do you give someone a list of plays and say, okay, these are the plays we're going to run for the first 20 or 30 plays, and then, like 10 minutes later, say, no, we're not going to do those plays? What the hell is he supposed to know? That's right. How can Shedeur run an offense when his own coaches are giving him bad information? But this story gets even crazier because Shannon Sharpe and Ocho talked about it on Nightcap, and Shannon explained why this mistake is actually impossible if you know how NFL teams get ready for games. Shannon said, "It's funny how hard it is for reporters to ask a coach a question, especially like that. A coach will always be PC. He will always be politically correct and not tell the truth about what happened with the wristband. They will never tell us the truth. Now we all have to guess. They're never going to tell us the truth." Shannon says that Kevin Stefanski is not telling the truth. He's not telling the whole story about what happened. He is hiding something. Then Shannon explains how wristbands work in the NFL. Before the game, maybe on Friday or Saturday, you make your wristband. You know what plays you have, what vocal plays you like, and what vocal plays we did well in practice. That's what goes on the wristband. And then Shannon leaves out this important piece of information. But Ocho, they're not leaving until Saturday morning. So Saturday morning is the last time you will officially get a wristband. That's what you're going to get. You already know what your first 15 plays are. You went through those. You talked about them the night before. Shedeur has talked about those things with the quarterback coach. These are the first 15 plays that we're going to call. This is a play for first down. This is our second down play. This is the third play of the game. This is what X, Y, and Z. This is our play in the red zone. This is where we want to go play. Oh, that's all on the wristband. Let me explain what Shannon just said in more detail. Days ahead of time, the wristband is ready. Saturday morning is when it will be done. The night before the game, the quarterback coach goes over the first 15 plays with the quarterback. They go through those plays. They talk about the plays. They know what those plays are. So, how do the wrong plays get on the wristband? How does something get on it? How can a miscommunication happen when there are so many steps to prepare and review? There could be 150 plays on the wristband, Shannon said. He'll tell you play 76. You say, okay, 76, but I've never heard anything like this. They asked him, were the wrong plays on the wristband? He said, yeah, no. I don't know what to think about this, and I don't want to sound like I'm making excuses for him, but I've never heard this before, ooh. I really haven't. This is new to me. Shannon Sharpe, a Hall of Famer who played 14 years in the NFL and won 3 Super Bowls, has never heard of a coach giving his quarterback the wrong plays on the wristband. This is so unusual that it's hard to believe. That's how shady this is. This looks like it was done on purpose to hurt someone. Then Ocho jumped in, and what he said is very important. It's not good for something like that to happen in the middle of a game. As coaches, as players, I know how well prepared we are for a game. I don't understand how something like this can happen. I can't believe something like this could happen. Ocho is saying what Shannon is saying. This doesn't add up. This doesn't happen by chance. There are too many people involved, too many layers of protection, and too many steps taken for this to be a simple miscommunication. Shannon agreed, especially when it came to the NFL. Get ready, man. And listen, you can never question how all 32 teams get ready for a week and for an opponent. There aren't really any mistakes or errors because there are too many moving parts for that to happen. There are too many moving parts. Shannon says that NFL teams are so thorough, detailed, and professional that mistakes like this don't happen. You have position coaches, coordinators, quality control coaches, equipment managers, and a lot of other people making sure everything is right. For the wrong plays to end up on Shedeur's wristband, a lot of people would have had to mess up their jobs. Or, as Shannon and Ocho are suggesting, someone did it on purpose. Then Shannon made the final statement. I agree with you, Ooh. It could be a situation. I don't know how this happened or what it is. We don't know why it happened, but Jimmy Haslam needs to find out. I need some answers. I want to know why the wrong plays were on that sheet for the first 2 drives and why we had to change it with the wristbands. I need to know why. I want to know why. Then Shannon said something big. If I were Jimmy, I'd call my friends. I don't know who he's really friends with. I'm going to talk to the other owners. Have your coaches ever been in a situation? Do you know where they had to change the wristband because the plays they gave the quarterback were wrong or not what they wanted to call? I need to know why. Shannon is telling Jimmy Haslam to look into it. He tells him to call other owners and ask if this has ever happened before in the NFL. If it hasn't, and Shannon strongly suggests it hasn't, then Kevin Stefanski has a lot of explaining to do. Then Shannon hit the knockout blow. People make mistakes, but not the big ones. No, not these kinds of mistakes. Not the really bad ones. Shannon says this wasn't a small mistake. This wasn't a small mistake. This was a very bad mistake. It can't be written off as an accident because it's so bad, so obvious, and so harmful. Now, let's talk about what this really means for Shedeur Sanders. This is where the story gets even worse. This is starting to turn into a cycle with them, said the insider who has been following this situation. I have to be honest, I'm starting to see that it's becoming a cycle. A system, a pattern, a cycle. Kevin Stefanski isn't just making mistakes that don't matter. He is purposefully ruining Shedeur Sanders' plans. He acts confused and gives vague answers like, I don't know if the wristband got something on it, when things go wrong. The insider went on, keep an eye on Joe Patino and the offensive lineman. He'll probably say something about Shedeur not knowing the play and not getting back to the huddle in time. Hey man, this is becoming a pattern for them. Now they're going to blame Shedeur for not knowing the plays when Kevin Stefanski gave him the wrong ones in the first place. That's what's on the agenda. That's the destruction. That's why Shannon Sharpe says Jimmy Haslam should ask for answers. But there's more to this story that makes it even worse. When you watch Shedeur's interview after the game, you can see that he is a young quarterback who is trying to act like a professional, take responsibility, and not blame anyone. They said on TV that something happened to your wristband after the first 2 drives, and Shedeur said, oh no, the card just fell out. Yes, it just fell out on the side. Yes, that was it. The card just fell out. That's what Shedeur says. Kevin Stefanski, on the other hand, said it was the wrong plays. So what is it? Did the card fall out, or did the wrong plays end up on the wristband? Someone isn't being honest because these two stories don't match up. And here's the most interesting part. Shedeur showed that he has what it takes to be a franchise quarterback when they asked him about receiver Elijah Moore dropping a pass that hit him right in the hands. He said, "No, it's going to happen." For example, "It's going to happen." So, it is what it is. I don't ever kick someone when they're down, He knows that's a big deal, and I'm sure he's hard on himself. I don't need to do anything extra, so I don't have to. That's a veteran answer from a new quarterback. That's Shedeur looking out for his teammate, taking the high road, and showing that he has emotional intelligence. But where is that same protection from his head coach? Where is that same grace when Shedeur has to deal with broken equipment, wrong plays, and miscommunications? Kevin Stefanski makes vague excuses for Shedeur, while Shedeur defends his teammates and takes the blame for things that aren't even his fault. This isn't just about one game, so let's look at the bigger picture. This is about how Shedeur Sanders is growing as an NFL quarterback. This young man has shown signs of being very smart. He has shown that he has the football IQ, arm talent, and leadership skills to do well at this level. But how can he get better if his own coaches are working against him? How can he feel more sure of himself if he can't trust that the plays on his wristband are right? How is he supposed to run the offense when there are already problems with communication before he even gets on the field? During that nightcap segment, Shannon Sharpe said something very deep. He said, "I think he had what it takes to be a great NFL quarterback." Yes, but I think he needs someone who believes in him. I believe he needs someone to support him, and I'm not sure that the Browns are on his side. I don't think the fan base has a choice. I think they are so behind Shedeur. Shannon is completely correct. Shedeur is a fan favorite among Browns fans. They know he has potential. They see how hard he works. They see that he's trying to do the right thing. But the team, the coaches, and Kevin Stefanski aren't giving him the help he needs to do well. They're making him fail and then blaming him when things go wrong. And check out what Shedeur has done for the Browns in such a short time. Shedeur threw for almost 400 yards in a game against the Titans, who have one of the best defenses in the league. For his third career start, he played like a pro. This season, Shedeur Sanders threw for the most yards against the Titans, 364 yards. That's more than Matthew Stafford, Justin Herbert, Sam Darnold, C.J. Stroud, Trevor Lawrence, Drake May, Kyler Murray, and Bo Nix. Look at the list. These are well-known NFL quarterbacks. Some of them are Pro Bowlers, and some of them are the first overall picks. And Shedeur, who was picked in the 5th round and started his 3rd game, played better than all of them against the same defense. That tells you all you need to know about how good Shedeur is. That's all you need to know about his potential. But how is Shedeur supposed to reach that potential if Kevin Stefanski keeps messing things up for him with bad plays, miscommunication, and not enough help? How is he going to become the quarterback that Shannon Sharpe and everyone else thinks he can be? The pattern is the most troubling part of all of this. Shedeur has had something like this happen to him twice this season. The second time. That's not a coincidence. That's not bad luck. Kevin Stefanski and the Browns coaching staff have done this before. And if it has already happened twice, how many more times will it happen? How many more games is Shedeur going to have to play with one hand behind his back because his coach won't tell him what he needs to know? Shannon Sharpe's point about calling other owners is so important because it shows how unusual this situation is. For example, if Jimmy Haslam calls around the league and asks other owners, "Has your coach ever given your quarterback the wrong plays on the wristband?" What do you think those owners will say? They will say no. They'll say that never happened. They're going to say that can't happen because of all the planning, systems, and people involved. And when every other owner in the league says this has never happened to them, it makes you wonder what's really going on in Cleveland. The thing is, NFL coaches are very competitive. They want to win. They want to do well. They want to help their players get better and give them the best chance to win games. So, why would Kevin Stefanski try to hurt his own quarterback on purpose? Why would he give Shedeur the wrong plays? Why would he make mistakes that hurt the team's chances of winning? It doesn't make sense unless something else is going on. Unless Kevin Stefanski has a personal reason for not wanting Shedeur on his team, like he never wanted him on his team in the first place, and is now trying to make him fail so he can move on from him. And before you say I'm reaching or making this up, remember what Shannon Sharpe said. It's normal to make mistakes, but not the terrible mistake. This is a big mistake. This isn't a small mistake. A Hall of Fame player who played in the NFL for 14 years has never heard of anything like this happening before. It's that bad, that obvious, and that bad for the game. That should give you all the information you need to know about how serious this is. Look at it from Shedeur's point of view. You're a new quarterback trying to make a name for yourself in the NFL. You study movies all week. You're learning the rules of the game. You're working with your coaches to figure out what plays to call in different situations. You walk through the first 15 plays on Friday. On Saturday, your quarterback coach goes over them with you. You get on the plane on Saturday morning with a wristband that has 150 plays on it. You get to the stadium on Sunday. You are ready to go. And then you go out on the field and find out that the plays on your wristband are wrong. The plays you looked at aren't the ones you have. You can't call the plays you walked through. What are you supposed to do in those situations? What are you supposed to do when you've been set up to fail? And this is what makes it even worse. Your head coach doesn't take responsibility when reporters ask what happened after the game. He doesn't say, "That's my fault. I made a mistake. I told my quarterback the wrong thing, and that's not okay." Instead, he gives this unclear, confusing answer about how something got on the wristband or there was a misunderstanding. He doesn't own it. He doesn't keep you safe. He leaves you to take the blame for throwing 3 interceptions when you were playing with the wrong information the whole time. That's not how to be a leader. That's not being responsible. A head coach shouldn't do that. That's why Shannon Sharpe and Ocho are so excited about this. They have played in the NFL before. They know how important it is for your coaches to have your back. They know what it's like when your coaches are trying to help you succeed and when they're trying to make you fail. And they can see Kevin Stefanski setting Shedeur Sanders up to fail right now. We need to talk about what needs to happen next, because this can't go on. The owner of the Cleveland Browns, Jimmy Haslam, needs to step in and get answers. He needs to sit down with Kevin Stefanski and ask him directly, how did the wrong plays get on my quarterback's wristband? He needs to look into whether this was really an accident or if something more sinister is going on. He needs to talk to all the people who helped make that wristband, like the other coaches, the equipment managers, and the quality control staff. If Kevin Stefanski or anyone on his staff gave Shedeur the wrong plays on purpose, that person needs to be fired right away. And even if it was just a huge mistake, even if it was the worst mistake in NFL history and not on purpose, Kevin Stefanski still needs to be held responsible. Shannon Sharpe said this couldn't happen by accident because there are too many moving parts. There are too many checks and balances, too many systems, and too many people looking for the wrong plays to end up on a quarterback's wristband. Either Kevin Stefanski's whole business is bad at what it does, or something else is going on. In any case, Jimmy Haslam needs to find out what's going on. The Browns fans need to know what happened. Shedeur Sanders deserves answers, and the integrity of the game demands them. If coaches can intentionally hurt their own players without any consequences, what does that say about the NFL? What does that mean for fair competition? What does that mean for giving young players a real chance to win? Shannon Sharpe's idea to call other owners is a great one, because it will show how strange this situation is. When Jimmy Haslam talks to the owners of the other 31 teams and learns that none of them have ever been through anything like this, he'll have to ask some tough questions. That will make him look into it. That's going to make him hold Kevin Stefanski responsible. And this is what really matters. Shedeur Sanders could become a franchise quarterback. He has shown signs of being great. He has been a leader. He's shown skill with his arms. He has shown that he knows a lot about football. But if the Browns keep messing with him and Kevin Stefanski keeps putting him in situations where he fails, they're going to ruin his growth. They're going to make him lose faith in himself. They're going to throw away his potential. In a few years, when Shedeur is playing for another team and tearing up the league, Browns fans will remember this moment and realize that Kevin Stefanski is the reason they let a franchise quarterback get away. That's what makes this so annoying. That's what makes this so annoying. Shedeur is doing everything right. He's learning. He's getting ready. He is putting in a lot of effort. He's a good team player. Even when things aren't his fault, he's taking responsibility. He is acting more grown up than his age, but his head coach is letting him down. His group is letting him down. And if things don't change, the Browns will be sorry. The person who knows what's going on said it perfectly. This is starting to become a pattern. It's a pattern. There's always something new every week. There is a new excuse every week. There is a new misunderstanding every week. And at some point, you have to stop calling them mistakes and start calling them what they really are. Sabotage on purpose. It's not an accident anymore when the same thing keeps happening over and over again. It's on purpose.